I caught my creepy neighbor looking in my window. A bit of quick background. I've lived next to this guy for the past 8 years, and he's never done anything super weird. But this past thing he did really freaked me out. I live in a house that's been in my family for 3 generations, not including me, but it's not super grand. Just a nice 1-story ranch style on a big lot. Before she sold the house to us, my great-grandmother and grandfather lived there. My great-grandma was super funny, super social, friendly, and seemed to like almost everyone. But for some reason, she just never liked this neighbor. When I moved in, I was only 8, so I didn't really care too much about our elderly neighbor, but my room has a window about 3 yards from his garage, and I remember for years he would keep me up at night working on stuff, or sometimes just sitting on the driveway with the light on facing my house. That was all a little weird, but it never really concerned me that much. I just thought he was a bit strange. Yesterday, though, he did something I think may actually be a tad worrying. Everyone hates this, but I'm a 16-year-old girl, which I just feel is important in context. That day, I was also wearing shorts and a big t-shirt, BC. I was just relaxing at home. My parents were both out of the house, and I was just lying on my bed reading something, facing away from the window. I sort of half-turned to get a bit more comfortable, and I thought I saw someone in my yard, but I had forgotten my dad wasn't home and figured it was just him doing yard work or something. About 10 seconds later, I got the urge to turn around again, and I saw some man just barely turning away from my window. This freaked me out plenty, but like I said, I had forgotten my dad wasn't home, so I felt relatively safe still. I got up to look out the window to see who it was and realized it was my elderly neighbor, who was just walking really slowly, looking in all the windows as he went. I still wasn't very concerned. BC, he comes over sometimes to tell us he's going out of town or to tell us he got the wrong mail. I decided to just stay in my room and let my dad answer the door since I figured that's who he'd want to talk to anyway. After a few minutes passed without a knock or a ring, I got up to get my dad. But that's when I remembered he wasn't home. I was now freaking out a little, but he's pretty old, so I thought maybe he was just having trouble on the steps or something. When I went out to the living room to open the door, I noticed he was walking back to his house, which I found strange. BC, he hadn't even rung the doorbell. I didn't want him to see me, so instead of looking out the window, I snuck out through the garage door, which is a bit pushed back from the house so he wouldn't be able to see me. He was just walking back, still looking in all the windows, including mine, as he went. I waited until he went back to his house to go back inside, and as soon he had, I ran to my room to text my dad. I didn't tell him about him looking in my window. I just told him the neighbor came by and didn't say anything. Later, we found out he wanted to ask if his lawn boy could cut through our yard, but something just feels weird to me. I know he saw me inside, and he didn't know for certain that my parents weren't home. But why did he look in all the windows instead of knocking? Also, the lawn boy had already started mowing his lawn by then. So why did he wait to come over? Anyway, sorry if this sucks or is in the wrong sub. I kind of feel like I'm overplaying it, but something feels off to me.